I've been puzzled ever since the first Earth Day why the people in this country haven't been willing to pay more attention to environmental matters. All sorts of social commentators, all sorts of folks have said American people have a very short attention span.
We tell stories, and the reason we do it is not just to entertain ourselves, but to instruct members of our society how to conduct themselves with other members of their society. And up till now, so many of our stories have shown humans to be the center of the universe. I mean, look at the way you're taught evolution, if you get to be taught that in school nowadays. There's this pyramid. Humans are on top. It's like, this is what evolution has been all about. We're the epitome. This is the height. It's not going to get any better than that. When in fact, I mean, we're just another creature out there on this planet. And the sooner we realize that, I think the better off things are going to be for us. That we do have limits, and we need stories now that reflect that message.
We must finally use less. Everyone must be satisfied with less if there's going to be enough for everyone. In fact, it occurs to me in my darkest moments that man might be an evolutionary mistake. We might be a branch of evolution that finally will kill itself off, and maybe the planet too. Or maybe the human race will kill itself off and many of the other living forms, and it will take 500,000 years before the Earth flourishes with some other life form.
We're not stopping. We're not stopping to look around, see what's around us. We're not even caring what's in the future, what's going to happen. But with like global warming and the deforestation problem and the pollution problem, I think we can make a change. I mean, we make a difference. Ever since like Earth Day started in '70, we've made a difference with all the little things we've done. And if we just keep doing that, I mean, there's not much. It helps. I mean, you can sit around and say, yeah, well, I'll do it tomorrow, but every day counts.
Mm-hmm. So
I think that at the rate that the population is growing, there are definitely going to have to be some drastic changes, and I don't think that the population will be able to continue to grow the way it is, because we are, I mean, just at the numbers we're at now, you know, by the year 2000 we'll have 6.2 billion people. And I don't think that that many people are going to be able to survive in the type of lifestyles that we live now without completely raping the planet, as you said. I just don't believe that people are going to be able to continue as they are and still continue to live.
Hey, we have an environmental box that we're going to dedicate to Hellgate probably for 20 years or more. And the inception or the idea was conceived in Burger King because on the bottom of a lot of their packages it says this is biodegradable. And it bothered me because I wasn't really sure it was. Or what are we talking about? 10 years? 2 years? 15 years? It appears to me to be a plastic-coated cardboard box, cardboard container. So what I planned to do or wanted to do was put a variety of things that are biodegradable or non-biodegradable in a container and set it outside and see how long it takes for things to decompose, especially some things that are supposed to decompose. And one of the first items we have, the first item, is a newspaper, and this is a Lance article. And dealing with Earth Week, what's an estimate? How long will it take before this turns to dust?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. 10 years?
20.
Okay, let's go for 5 years. Raise your hand if you think this will be gone in 5 years or less. 5 years or less? 5 to 10 years? More than 10 years? I think we're probably around 5 years. I'll stick that in here.
That hurt.
40 years?
Yeah.
My guess is probably 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years.
Even
Is it guess?
Plastic chips on it.
Okay. Lots of years. That's not biodegradable. Regular school paper. Well, 3 years? 5 years? 5 years? 10 years? I think it'll stay orange for a long time. Plastic coated milk carton? Ooh, 10 years? 5 years? 15? 20? 100 years, I think we're just good. I think we're talking 50 to 100 years on that too. Maybe 6 months, a year. The paper and the tobacco are going to decompose pretty quick, but the filter might be there for 5 years. Styrofoam cup from our cafeteria. Another piece of school paper. That should be it. I think most of the stuff in here will be here when you graduate. Your kids could see this. Biodegradable bag. 100% recycled.
Well, the worst problem is that many people don't consider the environmental crisis as a crisis. They see it as just a bunch of raving maniacs spiking trees for no apparent reason. And especially in Montana, where logging is a major industry, people see it as not a real important problem, but it is.
The worst crisis in the environment.
In the environment? Environmentalists. Well, they just sit around and bitch about things, don't get anything done.
Oh, I'm so cool, I'm not going to recycle this, and I don't know whether I'm supposed to respect that person for their rugged individualism or what. I just see it as stupidity.
Well, first of all, you're absolutely right. We are part of nature. We've evolved with nature, from nature. We are nature. We're not a separate thing that landed here on a spaceship or something and found this planet. I mean, we came out of this thing. So that's the first important step towards getting back to that, is just going through the simple thought process of remembering we're not aliens. We didn't come here on a spaceship, and we're from this earth. That's the first step towards getting back to a more symbiotic relationship with our surroundings.
Yes, I mean, the whole definition of civilization is that. I mean, dinosaurs were a society, but not a civilization. Then again, I believe they raped the earth pretty good. I don't think they had a lot of forethought about what trees to eat. We, as civilization, I mean, assuming we have anything above the dinosaurs and some intelligence to work with, should be able to construct a system that can leave the universe intact, the earth in particular.
Okay. Roses are red, violets are blue, ozone's depleting, and we will too.
Saving the environment? Conservation, I think, is the key. Conserving water, conserving our resources, and especially controlling the human population, and awareness, which is, voila, awareness.
I remember summers back at Flathead Lake in the late 60s and early 70s. Song is appropriate for that. It's called Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. Watching the tide roll away, on the dock of the bay, wasting time. When I left my home in Georgia, they're headed for the Frisco Bay, and I got nothing to live for. It looks like nothing's gonna come my way. I'm gonna sit on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away, on the dock of the bay, wasting Yeah, I see here is my voice. This loneliness won't leave me alone. Yeah, 2,000 miles I've roamed, where is to make this stop my home? Yeah, I'm gonna sit in the dark of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Looks like nothing's gonna change. Everything's the same. I can't do what 10 people tell me to do, so I guess I'll remain the same. Yeah, see here is my bones, and it's loneliness won't leave me alone. Yeah, 2,000 miles I've roamed, but it's to make this stop my home. Yeah, I'm gonna sit in the dark of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Ooh, sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time, wasting time, wasting time.
Thank you. Every person can do their own little bit. And it may not seem like much, but if everybody does a little bit, it'll add up to a lot.
More people are aware. Education is a big thing. People being aware that the littlest things, if everybody does just a small little thing that's bad, it adds up to a big problem. So we all need to do our little parts.
The end of Earth Week, just people's awareness and maybe just a group effort to try to do something, just an awareness of what we're doing and maybe an effort to start helping and do what we can.
Well, I don't think that I would like to see not an end of Earth Week. You know, there's a saying Earth Day every day, and you know that would be the ultimate goal, I think. But I don't expect that to happen.
We're very selective about the kind of drugs we get concerned about. Chemicals that have been outlawed in this country by our health standards are still being routinely shipped south of the border, and they come back to us in the bananas we eat and vegetables we buy in Mexico or wherever. So I think it's just become clearer and clearer that we live in a global village, and it's about time we started taking better care of it.
And, you know, dolphins, people really responded to what was going on with dolphins in the tuna industry because it was so graphic, and they saw pictures of it, and they saw dolphins getting trapped in nets, and, you know, fishermen beating dolphins over the head with clubs. And the same thing is happening to our environment, and people just haven't seen the graphic pictures of it or aren't responding to those graphic pictures.
Well, I would hope that Earth Week is more than just a symbolic free-for-all and PR blitz, and that we would carry the ideas that were set forth and the concerns set forth in Earth Week and apply them to Earth life, which is basically everything from now on forward, and that we don't let this just be a hollow act of symbolism, and that this becomes something real, that it becomes part of our lives, and that it becomes part of our national ethic.
High time we move on to the real issues, and it's high time we move on to teaching and learning and communicating the way everybody's doing it anyhow. By and large, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We just have to turn to what's working now in advertising and what's working now in entertainment and adapt it to teaching and learning.
commercials work well, you know. I believe in media blitz. It seems to work. I don't know if it does or not, but I wear my seatbelt these days. I didn't when I was a kid, and those little dummies crashing into the wall sort of made me think about it. I suppose that's why I do it. I watch too much TV, and most of the world does, so I would say more awareness, in other words. We had lots of awareness. People generally, I think, do the right thing if they just know what the right thing is, and they've heard it 50,000 times. So, okay. What else? You want to know another reason?
Sure, if you have one.
Good, I don't know, let's see. Education's certainly good. Things have to hit people in the face, you know, for them to change. And unfortunately, environmental things, once they hit you in the face, then it's too late. So the only way to prevent that is going to be, you know, you're going to have to. I mean, TV is a good medium, and this is it, right? I mean, it's good. It's graphic, it's visual. It can show people what happens. It can simulate what would happen and what it would be like. So for people who aren't quite aware enough of what it means to ruin an atmosphere, that would work.
I hope that awareness of problems and possible solutions is increased. And halfway through Earth Week, I'm very impressed and pleased with the level of awareness I've seen on the part of students at Hellgate. In addition, the people that have come in from the outside have been very impressed and hopeful that so many young people can be so concerned and aware. Awareness is the first step, and sometimes it's long after awareness that action takes place. Most of these people aren't anywhere near ready to take action, really. And they're not in control enough of their own lives to make huge changes. There aren't many Hellgate students who will quit driving their cars to school. But the awareness is growing, and the action will come if we can get it started.
I think if we could solve the awareness problem and tell everybody, you know, that this really is deep-rooted and it can't be, you know, fixed overnight, then that would pretty much cover everything else. Awareness and action.
This is the man who does the hole. He gets the first shovel.
We have a video program that we're distributing all over the country in schools and at conservation organizations and whatnot. A lot of efforts there. We publish a quarterly newsletter that goes out to about 1,500 people. And a nationwide petition drive, where now we've got a little over 8,000 signatures, and we're going for 50,000 by this summer. So there's a lot of efforts there that we're engaged in. We do a lot of traveling, just having informational tables, taking part in conferences and things like that.
Yeah, I work for Defenders of Wildlife. We're a national conservation organization. I man the Northern Rockies office, regional office, and have done that for the last 12 years. And I work on a variety of issues. Restoring wolves to select places in the Northern Rockies is one of them, but also doing things like you know, maintaining our national forests, national wildlife refuges. We've been working on trying to provide increased opportunities for wildlife viewing across Montana, and just involved in a number of conservation issues.
As I mentioned at the start of our little concert earlier, 20 years ago in Missoula, when Earth Day was celebrated, it was something that happened just for that day. We all went out and cleaned up, you know, all the students from the high schools went out and cleaned up Missoula. And then after that day, the subject was kind of dropped. I mean, people were starting to recycle and all that, but I'd like to see the kinds of efforts that are being made all this week being integrated into our everyday lives for the entire year, because 1 week's worth of cleanup and conservation and recycling isn't going to do it. It's got to become part of our lifestyle.
Hopefully with the awareness being brought out to everybody this week, people maybe will get into a habit. That's what you can hope for, I guess. That not only this week do they pick up their cans and recycle them, but next week and the week after, it's easy. You just get a couple extra boxes and sort your stuff, and it just takes a little more time. And I guess that's what I hope for.
Have less kids. That's a simple, easy thing that we can do. Lower the population. I feel that that's a major problem that we're having in the world, with too many people. And that, from that stems a whole bunch of other problems.
That awareness thing again, I guess. But I'm pessimistic about that. You know, I get nervous about. Earth Week's a good thing, but it's too easy for people to go, oh yeah, that's that week where we'll all be conscious for a while and then not, and then they shut it out. It's like going to church on Sunday kind of thing, where people tend to blank it out. So it's nice. It's good to see. I don't get overjoyed about it. I'd rather see. Well, I hate to say that. I haven't thought through it very well, but I'd rather see people make commitments right away. You know, like they do for teens and drunk driving and that kind of thing, where you say, will you or will you not do this, and give a person, so they don't have to put it on the back burner and say, someday I'd like to separate my trash. Well, I always send it out right now and say, will you not? And if you will, then do. And so more of that, not just surveys, but, well, what could you do to cause people to affect change right here today? See, I don't know. One way, I know you could talk to the sanitation department and ask why. Has anybody done that? Why don't they have us separate our trash? And there's got to be money in it for them. It seemed like the extra managerial problems it would cause should be offset, but I don't know. Could be offset by just the money they'd make from recycling this stuff. So why don't they do that? And if they did that, they could be a directive to us. Simple, you have to. If you want us to pick up your garbage, you must separate it. Well, then we do all the work. And we make a decision. Well, it's not important to me. I'll take it to the dump myself. But most people are going to go, okay, I'll separate my trash. So it forces them to make a decision right now, today. That would be the best thing.
Exhibit, losing some place that you love to be by yourself, where it's wild, to the effects of industrial production or expansion, or not being able to do the things that you like to do is what's going to make a change inevitably. And when you don't have enough water to wash your dishes or wash your hair or take a bath, you're going to notice that something's wrong. And really, for America, I think that's what it's going to take for the entire country to be turned around. And meanwhile, I'm sure there will be, excuse me, a minority who are working for change already. But
that you're that pessimistic, then you really think that it's going to take at least for our lifestyle, sort of cataclysm, sort of.
Yeah, I really do.
Okay.
I don't personally think that we have to get rid of the logging industry. I think that all of the groups can take measures to save the environment in the ways that they can. They all have a part in it. And I'm not going to tell any certain group that, it's their fault.
I'd like to think that we can live on the earth without destroying it, and certainly we can. I don't know if we ever will. In my worst dreams, yeah, we're a disease on the planet, and finally the planet will shake its back like a dog and toss us off like fleas. On the other hand, I'm willing to do without a car. I'm willing to walk. I'm willing to eat less, consume less, go to bed when it gets dark. But how many of us can do that?
That's the attitude that we will we're absolutely entitled to more, and that somehow we'll find some kind of machine, some kind of technological fix, somehow science/technology will end up finding out what it is we need to know in the nick of time. Maybe a little Hollywood scenario here, we kind of assume that there will be a solution. It's got to come in half an hour because that's the end of the show.
Thank you.